just the increased enthusiasm behind the program. The attendance is up. You're probably going to have to go down to the court in Mize to accommodate all the seating for the luncheons. Can you guys, you've been here 3-4 years now, you know what it was and now what it is. Can you just talk about that?
Well, I think it's safe to say that we enjoy seeing all the faces, not only at the luncheon but at the games also. And when we come in and see that many people, it's overwhelming sometimes to realize that you have such a great support system, as we call it, family behind you, supporting you, you know, as we go through this journey of long games and things like that. So seeing that many people there, like you say, coming from what we saw a couple years back, is really overwhelming, and you know, we enjoy it.
I guess to kind of piggyback off what she said, well, Coach used to talk about the way we play, how hard we play, we in people's hearts. And I think that, you know, over the course of the last 3 years, that's what we've been able to do. And as a result of that, we see more and more people at games, more and more people at the luncheons. And so I guess that's just a result of how we play.
By the way, we're up to number 15 in the USA Today Coaches Poll as well.
Okay, and Coach, you used a good word at the luncheon. You said yet. You mentioned all the statistics where you guys are, league versus overall. How much better do you think that the team has the potential to get?
I just think we can. I think this team has a chance to be really, really good. I told you in the very beginning I thought I had a top 25 basketball team, but we talked about it with them, and I've mentioned it to y'all. That 17 through 25 is real fluid. Those teams pop in and out of there all the time. Once you crack into that top 15, 12, 10, those teams are usually there to stay. Once you get into that group, that's a pretty consistent group that's there for the long haul. And I think, offensively we've had some issues now. We've got to address those, and I think we spent some time on it today in practice, and we've got to continue to guard. I think that's our who we are. I think that's our DNA. We're a blue-collar, defensive, grinded-out basketball team. But I think offensively we've got a bunch of kids with a good skill set, and we've got to do a better job scoring. You go in this league, you're going to win with half-court offense, half-court defense, and that's what it's going to come down to. And so we've got to execute better on the half-court.
You mentioned those teams at Texas A&M having to go out and win those grounded-out games. Happen all the time. Good teams usually win games they don't play very well in, and that happened against Missouri. How big was that, just going through the adversity that you had, tough shooting night, turnovers, and winning that game on the road?
Well, I think it's a game you'll look back on, and toward the end of the year, and you'll go, that was one we needed to get. And you certainly don't want to, don't want to stub your toe, but at the same time, you're going in there. Robin's a great coach. Those kids are, they've had 3 season-ending injuries to starters, but it's just always for them been the next player up. And so you're going in there and going against some Warriors. Those kids play Tennessee now. They probably outplayed Tennessee for 30 minutes, but they had a little 10-minute stretch in the second half where it got away from them. So they had our respect. And for us to go in there, not on our best offensive night, but to go in there and really grind it and play possession by possession defensively as hard as we did, and that's how you win those games. Defense, rebounding, inside game if you're going to win on the road. And we didn't really have an inside game, but we certainly played defense, and we were adequate rebounding the ball.
What happened in the last 10 minutes of that game? At the 10-minute mark, it was a 9-point game, and you scored about as many points as you had the whole game in the next 5 to 10 minutes. What happened in the huddle? I guess, Kendra, that'd be a question for you.
Well, Coach had enough, and we had to. He got in this with how we should have come out, in the beginning of the game. But I guess at that point, I looked up and saw we were down 9, and everybody was like, we can't keep doing what we're doing because it's not working. And so we just came out with a different mentality. I know from the bench I was watching, and just to see them, us come back, turnover, we capitalize, layup, Bree gets a layup, Chinway gets a rebound and just puts it back up, and just really to see Chinway evolve, she's really doing an amazing job. And even Bree, everybody, that whole possession, or the I guess the number of possessions that we came back and kept getting stops and stuff, that really is what put us back on top. So.
Big day, your score was good, starting career high, I think. Let's talk about how that happened, the defense go to offense, exactly how did you describe it?
I guess when you say your best defense, it comes, and then your offense will come to you too. So when we finally clicked and realized that we had to play defense, I guess it just fell on me. Going into that game, I didn't think I would score like that. Like you said, it's my career high. I'm not looking to score, but times needed. I guess that was just taking on my position and my role, to get things done. But yeah, it came to a shock to me too.
Coach, you said before that you thought that the defense was going to come with this team. Through 2 games in the league, offensively, are the things that you guys have encountered and the problems that you have had, or issues, or however you want to say, are those things that you kind of saw coming, given that you were going to go into the league play, or are they issues that maybe you had an idea of earlier?
I think what's happening is now you're going against not only better players, but better coaches. And so the game plans are changing, from the opponents. And so they're playing us differently. I got players that are playing differently. Like I said, Martha's getting everybody's game plan. She's their number 1 stop. Victoria's their number 2 stop. So Victoria gets everybody's best guard on the perimeter to defend her, and then everybody's putting 2 on Martha. And so, we've got to do a better job of ball reversal. Martha's got to score quicker before the double gets there, and we got to go harder on offense. They're going to see today on offense, we're not playing as hard on that end as we're on defense, which is very unusual, but it's the truth. And so and again, they need to see that. We've got away a little bit from watching a lot of film of late of ourselves. We're always focused on the next opponent. But we need to see that, and that was part of last night for me, was going back and cutting up some film to show our kids what we're not doing offensively. But a lot of it has to do with how people are game planning us and playing us, and so it's not anything we can't handle, and it's just we got to find a different way to attack it, and we spent a lot of time today doing that.
Coaching such a young team, how have they handled the success, do you think? And do you have to guard against complacency at all?
I'm not worried about complacency right now with my youngsters. I'm worried about the 0 that's in our record right now. I don't want us to, let's be honest, we're probably not going to win them all. But when that day does come, when we walk off the floor, whenever that night is, I don't want it to be from apprehension or hesitancy. I want it to, they were just better than us. Not that, we were so tied up and worried about the 0 that we couldn't function. Whenever it happens, hey, it's going to happen. But go out in a blaze of glory. Go out whenever that night happens, go out with the idea that, we played great. We played hard. We executed. Just didn't work for us that night. Not with, we were all tied up and worried. 15 out of 30 at the free throw line. Very uncharacteristic for this team. And the kids that were doing that. JJ's 7 out of 11. I ain't real fired up about that. That's 70, what is it? That's 63%. I need her to make 9 out of 11, or 10 out of 11. And you can go down the list. Dominique, I think, was 1 out of 6. So we've got, that's my worry. I don't worry about complacency. I would hope that nobody on this team would be complacent, especially my seniors. This is it. They've got basically 3 months left of their careers. They got 7 games left in the hump. And so, man, let's go out and get it done and realize that, in practice, are you practicing to get better? Are you going out to conquer your bad habits? Today's thought for the day was conquer bad habits, or they will conquer you. Practice makes permanent. That's what practice does. So if you're practicing bad, that's how you're going to play. If you're practicing good, you're probably going to play good over the course of time. Practice makes good, makes permanent. So, I would hope, number one, I'd hope these two would never let complacency enter the building. I'd be real disappointed in them before I'd be disappointed in anybody else. I think with young kids, it's just a matter of realizing the stage and how big they think it is versus how big it really is, which it isn't that big a deal. It's something they've been doing all their life. You know, I think we got some jitters right now with certain kids, and it'll come and go. But hey, we've been doing this all our life. We've been playing this game all our life. Let's go play.
When you look at the bigger picture, in the sense that 17-0 in the rankings, everyone sees that, but it was kind of accomplished without some of your best players. How are you able to continue winning without missing a beat with some of your stars? It's
been a challenge, I'm not going to lie. It's been a real challenge for me. Kendra's made it easy. She's probably come back of the three and done a better job, you know, than in making it real easy to realize she got to play. I've said this from day one. Kendra Grant's got a big-time jump shot. She'd make a lot of money and play for a long time if she can develop that consistency with it. And she's made shots here lately. She's been fairly good defensively, and so and Kendra always plays pretty hard. You know, sometimes we might not make a great decision, but Kendra's been a joy to coach here at Mississippi State, and I appreciate her and her work ethic and what she's done, because she's had some up and downs, but you know, JJ the last 2 weeks, she's been really good, consistent, every day, not only in games but practice too. And I think that for me, that's where I feel more comfortable with her every day, in that she's been doing it in practice. In games, she's been very solid. She's leading our team. She is that calming presence that sometimes we need, almost to a fault. Sometimes I need her with more juice, you know, more enthusiasm, more go out there. But she is certainly that calming presence that sometimes you got to have. You know, Morgan's that go player, and sometimes she gets to going so fast she forgets to take the ball with her. And so I think right now that's where we are, and we just got to continue to get better.
When you said it was difficult, what made it so difficult as a coach? You know, having 3 of your best players sidelined.
We knew they were out, so it never entered my mind I needed to try to get them back in the game. It just makes sense that your 3 seniors, especially first team All-SEC and Martha, gives you a chance to be the best you can possibly be if you can get her back in the fold and get her back playing. Now, getting her back playing the way Martha used to play, not just getting her back playing and now she's out there and she's not a factor. You got to get her back playing like first team All-SEC and co-defensive player of the year, and that's been the challenge. So when they were out, you knew they were out. We had 11 players available, and pretty much all of them were playing at that time due to how we play, and we had, you know, that was the depth. Now you got to figure out, okay, Kendra's playing better and shooting it better than maybe a couple of those freshmen. She's a senior, so now she jumps in front of them. It's not anything they did wrong. It's just the fact that she's a senior. She's been to the war. She knows what it's all about. She's a veteran. She's a little bit smarter, you know, and so she kind of moves up in there after she gets comfortable and gets her knee back. You know, with Vanna, it's just a matter of her getting back out there and realizing, you know what, I'm never going to be 100% again, so I'm going to have to figure out a way to make it happen with 85, because her 85 is pretty darn good. And so it's been a challenge for me, no question about it, and it's been hard, very difficult.
Do you almost become more of therapist coach in the sense that you're trying to, you know, not mentally hurt the freshmen because they were there and you said they didn't do anything wrong, but they're still not getting as much playing time because, you know, senior return?
No question. And it's hard. You know, those kids are all competitors. You know, they were all great players in high school. They were all state. They were all, you know, really highly decorated players. They've all won at the highest level, whether AAU or high school. So it's hard. I know they want to play, and it's hard for them. And again, it's sometimes it's having the understanding that you got to wait your turn. Get better while you're waiting your turn. Don't be satisfied, because hey, some of the greatest players I've ever coached, the best, you know, our best player on our national championship team didn't start till she was a senior. She was 6th player of the year her junior year, and but that she didn't care. She just wanted to win, selfless, and I think that's another part right now.